Today, I want to talk about 2026 as a speed year. Now, some people call it the year of the fire horse. I'm not going to use that as proof of anything, right? I'm not doing any predictions about the lunar calendar, okay? Basically, I'm just using it as a symbol, right? It's a very powerful symbol. And it fits into what we are living through at the moment, right? The fire points to acceleration, the horse points to movement, force, and independence. So when you put those things together, you actually get a year where momentum rewards clarity and it punishes. Well, punish may not be a right word to use, but which means you don't get the benefits, if you are just drifting. You don't get the benefits if you are just, you don't have clarity and you don't know the direction that you're going. All right, you're not going to gain much from 2026. 2026 is all about clarity and direction. Okay, so if you have felt it already, you know that the world is not only changing, it is changing faster than your nervous system is designed to handle. So AI is scaling, institutions are shaky, we see so many businesses closing down, more information is coming out, and more of it is emotionally charged. In a year like this, most people are, they're just going to cope in two ways. They either numb out or they obsess, Both will feel different, but both are actually doing the same thing. They steal your sense of peace, they steal your sense of groundedness. And so this is what I want to give you today, right? 7 things, 7 recognitions that will help you to thrive this year in 2026. Now, each point has a global layer because the world matters, and then the personal layer because your life matters more, right? So again, I want to remind you, this is not a prediction video. It is just to help you to navigate the year that is coming up. And so, number 1, right? Let's talk about the one thing that most people miss, right? And that is the real cost of a year like 2026. It is not fear, we don't have to be afraid of 2026. It is actually speed, right? Point number 1, speed is tax. So agency is the antidote, right? Agency meaning you must have agency of your time, your energy, your resources. Now, globally, we see everything is moving faster. The news cycles, the product cycles, reputation cycles even, right? We see so many people's reputation going down the drain. We see a lot of people rising fast even. So the ups and downs are real, yeah? So even the way ideas spread through culture, you will feel it because what used to take months, right? Something takes months, it goes viral very quickly through social media. It takes days to just, go through the whole cycle, right? So personally, thriving is not about knowing more. It is about making your decisions sooner. You have to decide sooner, and then you correct sooner, right? So the faster you make a mistake, if you're afraid of making mistakes, the faster you make mistakes, the faster you correct yourself, and then you move. We procrastinate on our decisions. We wait because we're afraid. We wait for something more certain to happen, then likely you are going to be dropped out, so to speak, right? Because 2026 it's really, speed and clarity, right? And so if you are procrastinating, but then you call it maturity, I'm just waiting for the right time, you might find that time is just going to pass you by very quickly. So I'm going to teach you something. It's called a weekly decision loop. Once a week, you choose one priority. Right? You think about, okay, what's my priority this week? And you work on that priority, you ship it out, you review what you have done, you make any adjustments, and then you repeat the whole cycle. So which means every week you are changing. Maybe you have a big decision about your business or your career or something that you're working on. You review it. If it's not going the way that you see that it's going, or you plan, you make the corrections, you adjust, and then you move on. The next week you do what you need to do for the week, and then you pick again a new priority or the same project because it is your priority for the next 12 weeks maybe. The idea is you keep adjusting. Okay. Point number 2. Now, AI will stop being a tool. We're all using AI as a tool these days, but we have to know that AI is becoming the infrastructure, right? If you are based in Singapore, you know this already. The government has just, in the last few days, talked about AI infrastructure. They are at the forefront of promoting this on a global scale. So AI is not just a new app that you're going to use anymore. It's becoming a layer under everything, from your workflow, customer service, hiring, education, medicine, media, right? And it is also shaping politics and security. So on your personal level, what happens is it creates a very simple fork in the road for you up ahead. Okay, either you design how you want to use AI, or your attention gets designed by everyone else. So instead of collecting tools, you build a small stack that supports your life. So one place to think, one place to write, one place to research. You have to think of how to use the tools in a way that helps you to build the infrastructure in your life, in your business, in how basically you run your life. Because in order to know what's out there, you have to be familiar with it, right? So the tools has to be one place to store and retrieve your notes, one workflow to turn ideas into output. And so here's the rule that's going to keep you safe and keep you sane, right? You use AI to increase clarity, right? Not to inflate volume, not to like output volume, is for you to have clarity. More output with less truth, people lose trust. So the next point I'm going to make actually is about trust. Trust becomes a currency, and it's going to be a very scarce currency, because right now people have less trust of what's out there, right? Globally, we see this. We enter into an era where content is abundant and cheap. Images, audio, video, even expert sounding text can be generated in seconds. So the world becomes louder, but not necessarily wiser. So the scarcity shifts, right? So the scarcity or scarcity, if you want to pronounce it that way, is trust. So personally, the way you protect trust is through your own internal hygiene level, which means your clean habits for knowing what is true, right? 4 simple rules. When the stakes are high, go to the primary sources. You separate truth from what is plausible. You treat outrage that you see online as a signal to verify, not to share, not to, gossip. You keep receipts, right? So you write down why you believe something, and not only what you believe, but it's also why you believe it. And you need to do your research, right? So it's not about being cynical or not, about trusting what's out there. I mean, the pandemic has shown us, right? I mean, the latest Epstein files, I mean, we know a lot that has happened in the past 4 years has been all planned, unfortunately. And most people in the world have fallen victim to it, right? So we do this to cultivate a sense of discernment, and we need to keep our nervous system hygienic, which means we need to work on our own ugly, toxic stuff that's been going on. Stuff that we have not worked on, stuff we've been avoiding, things that we're afraid of. All these things, we really need to look at it, because if we do not, those things make us victims of manipulation. We become very easily manipulated due to our own unresolved issues. It may seem like it's unrelated. Everything is connected. Nothing is unrelated. Point number 4, regulation and accountability. All right. So globally, we see that, it's moving. Adoption of these, regulation and accountability is moving faster than governance, which means companies rush ahead and governments respond later. Now, this creates friction, right? So more policies, more audits, more compliance. So personally, people will feel this in our ordinary lives. There may be more identity checks, more workplace rules, more pressure to prove what is real and what is fake, right? So you must know the rules of the environment that you operate in. Now, if you run a business, you must learn what you can disclose and what you must protect. You must also know the rules of what you must disclose, right? And if you work inside a company, you must learn the boundaries of using AI responsibly. And this is to help you to be competent, in where you stand and in where you are. Point number 5, disclosure culture rises, right? I mean, we see this, where people just on social media, when you do something wrong, you're being called out, right? So there's a lot of different narratives coming up. So there's a narrative warfare, so to speak. People are saying, oh, this person is right. No, that person is right. This person's done the right thing. That person's done the wrong thing, right? So we see all that happening globally, right? We see it, we're living in a time when there's a heightened revelation, where there are a lot of information leakage, a lot of allegations, document, dropping, like, again, latest Epstein files, a lot of investigations going on. Now, some of it is real accountability, some of it is just theater, right? Some of it is really just noise. And there will be also people who are just using this as an opportunity to create more chaos for their own benefits. Okay. Now, on a personal level, this is where people get trapped, right? They think that they are consuming revelations. They think that when they consume a revelation, they are more awakened or more enlightened. But then their life does not improve, right? So their relationship do not get better. The work does not get cleaner. The nervous system gets so fried because of overconsumption, right? So you must be aware of this. Having information is not clarity. Having that information or knowing what has been disclosed is not wisdom. Your practice is disciplined exposure. So what do I mean by disciplined exposure? You have to choose a fixed window for heavy news. So like personally, if I were to read the heavy news, I do it, at a fixed time in a day. Sometimes, I don't even do it every day, right? The last thing you want is to start and end your day reading about scandals or watching movies or something that is actually not good for your nervous system. So when you appoint a time to read the heavy news, which is necessary for us to know what it's all about, right? We need to know what's working, what's really happening in the world. Once that window closes, where you give yourself an opportunity to read the heavy news, once the window closes, you come back to what you can control, which means your health, your boundaries, your work, your relationships, and your community, your social circle, right? So this is how you stay awake without becoming addicted to stuff that you read in the news and see in the news and be so consumed that you become a victim of it. Okay? So point number 6. The biggest risk right now is not about the world collapsing. Really, it's not. It is actually misallocation. So globally, we see that, whenever there's a new wave that rises, right? It could be something new that happens. Then our money, our attention will be chasing it. We're just going after it. Then some investments that we make could be intelligent, some could be inflated, some could be just pure fear of missing out, right? So on a personal level, when you misallocate your attention, your funds, your money, your resources, this year it can completely ruin you. So misallocation of time, money, attention, and identity are really important. So I personally have cut down on many social obligations because I know it's not going to be a good use of my time, my attention, my energy. It's really important. And if you're a friend of mine and I've said no to you for social gatherings, don't take this personally. It's nothing to do with you. It's about how I am allocating my time and my energy. All right. So you need to exercise disciplined allocation. So you allocate learning time to skills that can help you, allocate money to resilience. You allocate money to resilience to tide you over, not to build your own status. That's not the point, right? You allocate attention to people and environments that stabilize you. All right. Now, this could be investing in therapists, investing in groups that support you in your work, in your personal development. It could be investing, masterminding groups. It could be investing your energy and time into group coaching. Anything that puts you in a better position than you are right now. Okay, so use this simple filter. If something gives you constant adrenaline but no real improvement in your life, it is not an opportunity for growth. It is simply an addiction. Okay? Now, point number 7, the future has a physical cost and your body is paying for it. Your body is the first thing within you that's going to pay the price. We look at this globally, right? The digital world has physical constraints: energy, supply chains, cooling, chips, land, geopolitics, right? AI has a footprint and the world has limits. Personally, your nervous system is where the future lands, right? Now, if you cannot regulate your body, you will not thrive in a year that is all about speed. You will not. You will either collapse or you become reactive, you become impulsive, you are just craving short-term relief. You're not solving long-term problems. So you have to treat your nervous system with better care by regulating it. You have to see nervous system regulation as a foundation of your beingness. So which means sleep discipline. You must have the discipline to sleep early, have enough sleep, daily movement, sunlight, fewer late night screens, avoid some things at night that's not good for your body, overeating, overindulgence, alcohol, and all that, right? So have more real human contact. This will be the base layer for clear thinking that's going to help you in 2026. Now, let me close this, short sharing by giving you a simple thriving protocol for 2026. Right, number 1, use a weekly decision loop, right? What we said earlier, the 7 points. I'm going to summarize this. A weekly decision loop. You choose, you ship, you review, you adjust. Number 2, you build a small AI stack that supports clarity and output in your life. It's not about, having more and more apps, right? Not at all. Use a system that helps you, right? Point number 3, practice inner hygiene, right? Which means within your mind, you have to be hygienic enough to know what is right, what is wrong. And if you have trouble with this, then seek help, right? So you need to have a higher level of discernment. So verify things before you share. Point number 4, learn the rules of the environment that you're operating in. Very important. Number 5, limit reveal culture to a time window, then return to your life. What I talked earlier about reading the heavy news, right? You limit the time and then get back to your life. Point number 6, allocate time, money, and attention with discipline. Discipline is a learned behavior, and it is one of the most important assets you will have in 2026, especially when we're talking about speed, we're talking about clarity. Okay. Point number 7, treat your nervous system regulation as a non-negotiable foundation. If you don't know how to do this, check out my website. Lots of information there about how to do this. Okay. So 2026, it rewards the steady person, the one who is grounded, the one that has clarity, and the one who is refusing to be dragged by all the pollution that's out there, the noise pollution, the toxic pollution, and all of that. Remain stable, and you will do fine, and you will thrive well in 2026. God bless.